Good afternoon, grade 12s. Welcome back to our business studies class. From yesterday, guys, we're still busy with business sectors and their environments. Today, we'll be looking at their examples basically. So, yesterday, I did concepts with you, and also I showed you how each sector um, interlinked with another basically. So, now, boys and girls, please, 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 this is an important chapter in your grade 12 syllabus. You need to know your business sectors and their environments. And for those who have just joined us today, welcome, guys, to our exciting lesson. I'm Hector S. Nkosi, and I'll be taking you for business studies for the rest of the year. Now, grade 12s, yesterday we covered some learning outcomes for this chapter basically. So you need to be able to do these things at the end of this chapter. You need to be able to name 3 types of business sectors: primary, secondary, and your tertiary sector. Yesterday we went into detail where we explained a primary sector, secondary sector, and a tertiary sector. Also, boys and girls, you need to be able to identify or name a business sector from a given scenario or statement. So today you'll see I'll be giving you statements and scenarios with different sectors basically. So I want us to do them together basically. Also, you need to be able to identify business challenges from given scenarios or case studies and classify them according to the 3 business environments, basically. Also, you need to be able to state or explain the extent to which a business operating in any of the 3 sectors can control the 3 business environments from the given scenarios and case studies, basically. Now, what we're going to look today, it's your terms and definitions, example 1, example 2, and example 3. So basically, we'll be looking at our examples. We'll try to do the application based on what we have learned yesterday. All right. So now yesterday, guys, we touched base on these terms and definitions. So your business sector, your primary sector, we know that that's where we get our raw materials and natural resources. Secondary sector, that's where your manufacturing takes place in order to make finished goods or finished products. Then your tertiary sector, we know where the sector renders the service to businesses or providers, basically. That's where we sell the full products to our clients or customers, basically. Also, you need to understand the business environments. It's all internal and external factors that affects the functioning of the business, basically. So grade 12s, these are your important concepts and they still continue. We also spoke about microenvironment. We said it's with a business itself. And then we spoke about market environment. We said it exists immediately outside of the business. So anything that affects, it's outside the business, that will be regarded as your market environment. Then your macro environment, it's outside the business and outside the market also. So it's the both combination of micro and market, you get your macro. Then the extent of control, we spoke about it. We said it's an amount of influence that a business has on the business, basically. Okay, guys, I'm not going to spend so much time on the concepts. So basically, this is just for you, to check or to revise from what you were doing yesterday on our lesson 1, boys and girls. And welcome to those who are just joining us now. We've just started with our lesson 2, basically. Okay, now, boys and girls, I want us to look at example 1, business in the primary sector, basically. So, guys, please look all these questions with me. Then if you've got a problem, guys, don't feel free to ask. Also, you can always email me. I'll show you my email address at the end of the lesson. Right. So now, basically, let's look at this activity or example. It says Duka Mines, given by DM. Duka Mines specializes in the extraction of platinum. Now, there is an extraction of platinum. So extraction of platinum, it will be seen as natural resources, basically, right? So their suppliers are mining equipment have increased their prices more than 20%, right? The supervisor does not have a good working relationship with his employees. The Duka mines, which means your DM, can no longer export their products due to increase in the exchange rates. So basically, they can't export their products due to the increase in exchange rates. Number one, you need to identify the business sector, meaning what type of a business sector it is in which Duka Mines operates, and motivate your answer by quoting from the scenario. So guys, from this scenario, you need to see what type of a business sector it is. We can see because they spoke about the extraction of platinum. So extraction of platinum, it will be seen as your mineral resources, basically, right? So because it will be seen as your mineral resources, therefore this will be classified as your primary sector, basically. So now your answer will be Duka Mines operates in the primary sector because the business specializes in the extraction of mines, or you can say the business specializes in the extraction of platinum, of which is your mineral resources, basically. Therefore, that's how you see that this is your primary sector. Remember, we said primary sector, that's where you get the extraction of your raw materials and your mineral resources. Here you do have your raw materials, of which is your platinum. In order for you to do whatever with the platinum, guys, you can manufacture a watch, you can manufacture what else, earrings or whatever, right? Okay, by now you know how does your primary sector looks like, or what does it entails, basically. All right, now let's look at number two. We're still on on our what you call this entity, Duka Mines, your DM, basically. Number two says to you, you need to code challenges from the above scenario. Classify each challenge according to the business environment and state the extent control DM has over each business environment. So we must identify challenges and classify that these challenges are under which business environment, and also we must identify the control, whether it's a full control, semi-control, or there is no control at all. Now, let's look at the business challenges under this sector, right? This is a mining sector where they extract platinum. So let's look at their challenges. Their challenges first, number one, the first challenge is that their suppliers of mining equipment have increased their prices by more than 20%, basically. So now, because now they've increased by more than 20%, because now it's their suppliers, remember, it's outside the business because it's their suppliers. Therefore, we know that anything that is outside the business will be regarded as your market environment. And we know under market environment that we do not have full control, but we can have some of the control, or we can have less control, or limited or partial, basically. So you have to identify that, okay, since it's the supplier, therefore it's outside. The word supplier was telling us that it's outside. So basically, I'll need some pen. Just hang on. I'll need a pen. Okay. Okay. Sorry. All right, guys. As I told you that the word supplier, it was the indicator to us that the business it's a market, basically, right? All right. Then this one, it says the supervisor does not have a working condition relationship with the employees, for the fact that it talks about the employees, and now who's talking? The supervisor. So now can you see, boys and girls, that this is within the business? This is within the business, guys. So now You need to know that this is within the business, right? All right, okay. Sorry about that. I'm trying to find my text, basically. Sorry about that. I'm trying to find my, just a minute, boys and girls. Okay. All right, just a minute. Right. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Right, so every time here we spoke about the employees. Does it make sense? Because now it has to do with the supervisor, right? Therefore, this will be regarded as your micro. And we know under micro, we have the full control, basically. We have the full control. We've got the full control, right? So I'm just gonna do it like this. We've got the full control basically when it comes to this one, okay? Just need to erase this. All right. Thank you. Okay, guys, then now let's see or look at number 3. With your number 3, basically now, if you look at your number 3 now, boys and girls, says DM can no longer export their products due to the increase in the exchange rate. We can see this, it's a macro environment. Remember, macro, it doesn't have to do with your competitors. It doesn't have to do with the business itself, but it's outside market and micro, and therefore because now it's now more of exporting their products due to the increase in the exchange rate. So this will be regarded as your macro environment, and we know under macro environment there is no control. Basically, there is no control. We know there is no control under this one, basically. All right. Now you guys know your what you call, you know your, okay, just hang on. I'm just trying to find my eraser. Okay. Okay. All right. Perfect. Let's just go to the next slide. If I want to go to the next slide, I have to check here. All right, let me just erase this, guys. Sorry about that. I'll have to erase this because now I was using it as my board, basically. Okay, it's done, it's done, it's done, it's done, okay. All right, I hope everyone is following now. Okay. All right, guys, let's look at example 2. With your example 2 now says, supply energy enterprise, your C, your SEE. So your super energy enterprise produces maize meal and instant soft porridge, right? They buy their raw material from Early Bed Maize Farm, which is out of stock sometimes. So the SEE employees are regularly absent from work. The local government has the management of C to register their products with South African Bureau for standards. So now we've got super enterprise, energy enterprise that produces maize meal. The word produces. Now, it should be your key indicator, right? So the word produces, it should be your key indicator, boys and girls, because now you were told that you are producing what? You're producing maize meal, isn't it? You're producing maize meal and instant soft porridge, basically instant soft porridge, right? So now you've got a product here, right? So you are manufacturing because you are producing, you're manufacturing these two products, right? Therefore, Number one says name the business sector which the super energy enterprise is operating. Therefore, you would know that this will be operating under your secondary sector. Does it make sense? Right. Let's look at the second, basically at the second question. The second question says to you now, identify 3 challenges for C's business and classify each challenges according to the environment. So now, what challenging is this business is facing? We know that the C employees are regularly absent. That's the first challenge. So if this thing is happening within the business, now this can be seen as what? Can be seen as your micro environment, basically, because it's within the business itself, right? Another challenge that we are facing, that Seas is facing, they buy their raw material from Early Bed Maize Mill Farm, which is out of stock sometimes, right? So can you see now, your Early Bed Maize Mill is what? They do have competitors, because if they don't get it from Early Bed Maize Mill, they can get it somewhere else. Therefore, that's a market environment. That's where they buy or they get their raw material, basically. So this one is a market environment. Then it says the local government has instructed the management of C to register their products with the South African Bureau of Standards. So can you see here, there's no competition in your macro environment. So how do you classify your macro environment? Because there is no competition. Macro, guys, has to do with your government, has to do with regulations, guys. Does it make sense? So basically, guys, in each and every sector, you must identify what type of a sector it is. Then you must identify the challenges and its business environment, basically. Now, let's look at example number 3. Now, if we look at example number 3, it says to you, Timothy Legal Services, your TLS. So Timothy Legal Services is situated at Pretoria CBD. TLS, assistant lawyer, are always not trained to handle criminal cases. Now, we need to look here. What is the business doing here? So, excuse me, the business here, what do they do here? They are rendering a service, because it says the business's assistant lawyers are not trained to handle criminal cases. Criminal cases now, it tells you that the business is rendering a service as what? As lawyers. So it's a legal service business, right? As lawyers. So now you need to check here that, okay, they can't handle criminal cases. We can see that's one of the challenges that they are facing. Another firm law, Mbuzi Incorporate, has set up a law practice in the same office block. That's another challenge now. And this will be seen as a market environment, basically, right? TLS can no longer pay their bank loan due to an increase in interest rate. We know, guys, this one has to do with your macro environment. Does it make sense? Already the answers are, we are shouting the answers. Number 1 says, name the business sector which TLS is operating. Motivate your answer by quoting from the scenario above. Business sector, it's tertiary, because we are rendering a service. We are selling products. What products are we selling? We are giving service to our clients that are facing criminal cases, right? Motivate, why are you saying this is a tertiary sector? Because TLS is situated at Pretoria. Does it make sense? No wonder they say it's a tertiary sector. Right. Number 2, from this question, basically, just need to erase this. Okay. All right. Now, when I erase that, to move on. Now, we must identify the challenges. So the challenges that we have identified, we have said TLS assistant lawyer are not trained to handle criminals. Also, we say this is a micro environment because it's within the business, guys. It's inside the business, right? And we do have a full of control, basically, within the business, right? But whereas another thing that Mbuzi Incorporated has set up the law practice in the same office block. So that's their competitor, basically. Therefore, this will be seen as a market environment. And we know under market environment, we can't have a full control. We can have a partial control, some control, or limited control, or semi-control, basically. And also this thing that the TLS can no longer service their bank loan due to increase in interest rate. That's your macro. And you don't have a control when it comes to macro. Those are the things that are happening in general in your environment or in the state, basically. Now, guys, you need to know challenges for each sector, depending on the scenario or case study that is given to you. Right. Now, this is a bonus example, guys. With your bonus example, you sometimes asked to name 3 business environments and explain the extent of control have over each business. So sometimes they can do like this. For example, they can say, do classify 3 business environments and identify their controls, right? So sometimes they won't say do sector, then after sector do. Sometimes they'll just say, they'll give you a scenario, then you must do identify business environments and give their controls, basically, right? So you need to know that your micro environment has to do with full control. Your market environment has to do with another control, basically, right? So please, 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 guys, make sure that you understand majority of these things, guys, so that everything is going to make sense, right? Okay, guys, thank you so much. That's for me for today. Please feel free to ask me any questions if you've got any. You're more than welcome to email me, guys. If you've got any questions, I'm always available. You can always email me at nkosihector28@gmail.com, guys. I'm here to answer your questions, grade 12s. Remember, we are only left with 2 months, July and August, before we can start our prelim papers. And now I'm praying that by month end July, we are done with the syllabus so that we can start doing the revision the whole of August, where we look at your different past exam question papers from different provinces and different years. From my side, I say have a lovely afternoon and your evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Goodbye.